Hello everyone, Graz here once again. So with Xbox One and PS4 having patch 1.3 now for Terraria, people have been asking, what are some good weapons that you can take into the Martian Madness event or even the lunar events? So today, I'll take a look at 5 great weapons for Terraria Endgame. Now on this list, of course, we won't include ones from Martian Madness or the lunar events, obviously because you're not going to have them yet. But these weapons will give you a hand at least getting in there and building forward. Take this list for what it's worth, just my opinion. Feel free to share yours down below in the comment section. We love to hear from you as always. With each weapon, I'll try to give you an idea of why it works, and even an alternative if there's something else that could actually work just as good. That way, you have options. But other than that, I hope you enjoy. First up, we have the Tempest staff that drops from Duke Fishron. This one can be a little bit of a pain depending on what mode you play. If you're playing in expert mode, that could be a bit of a challenge to get, but if you're playing in regular, it may not be as bad. So it really depends on what you play. But either way, this is a really good staff for summoners going into endgame, and it can do the job right. One thing I do find annoying though is that sometimes the little Sharknadoes tend to have a mind of their own and they can kind of wander off, and their aim isn't always the best. If you tend to find that annoying, then I highly recommend the Deadly Sphere staff. Now of course, these drop from Deadly Spheres during the solar eclipse, and this is really on par with the Tempest staff. Deadly Spheres tend to float around, but when they attack, they really do it on point and do a really good job of it. So either way, it all depends on what you preference. If you feel like fighting Duke Fishron a lot, go for the Tempest staff, but if you don't really feel like dealing with that mess, just go ahead and farm it up in the solar eclipse. Quite frankly, it's probably a little bit more easier in the solar eclipse, depending on how you play. Staying with Duke Fishron, another item I suggest would be the Razorblade Typhoon for spellcasters because it's a really good weapon. Now at one point it actually used to launch several projectiles, but now it's been reduced to 2 since 1.3, but it still is very effective to say the least. It still homes in on enemies and still does a lot of damage, which makes it really great for the lunar events and Martian Madness event in whole. Mana usage has been slightly reduced from 18 to 16 in 1.3, but use time itself has gone up as well a few ticks, so it's kind of balanced out. If you really don't feel like dealing with Duke Fishron for it, then head over to the Frost Moon where you can go ahead and get that Blizzard Staff from the Ice Queen. Now, this is a little bit different. It doesn't have homing projectiles, but the Ice Staff still does a good amount of DPS that can actually be very effective in both endgame events, so it's to be considered as well. Both the Razorblade Typhoon and the Blizzard Staff are auto-casting, so either way, I think this is a win-win for mages in this situation because, again, auto-cast makes everything so much easier, and it's just awesome, right? If you're looking for some ranged firepower, then look no further than the Santa NK1, the Sand Tank, for the chain gun, because this is really awesome for rangers if you like guns. Now, this thing has rapid fire and a 50% chance of not consuming ammo, so this thing is already off to a great start. You load that up with some Plurified bullets, and you can take down a good chunk of bosses in this game alone just with that setup. As a matter of fact, it's even very possible to take down the Moon Lord with that setup. But if you really don't feel like grinding down them sand tanks, then head over to your boy Duke Fishron and look for the Tsunami. While it's nowhere near as fast as the chain gun, the Tsunami does take arrows and turn them into 5 shots, which means by the end of the day, for every 1 arrow you use, you shoot 5, which is really awesome. You can't ask much more than that, right? There's a lot of potential there with that, and if you prefer arrows over guns, go for it. This is a really great substitute weapon for the chain gun, and all you have to do is go through Duke Fishron and get it. That may be a good thing or a bad thing, again, depending on how you play. One suggestion I would like to make, if you're going to get some arrows, definitely get some holy arrows or some Ichor arrows, because with holy arrows, when you hit with that 5 shot, it's going to cause a ton of stars raining down. That's a load of DPS on screen. I mean, a truckload of damage, so definitely use them. And the Ichor arrows are more the same, where 1 arrow is going to do the inflicting of the debuff, while the other 4 do extra damage, so that really pays off as well. 2 really great suggestions for arrows with this bow. Definitely use them. Coming from the solar eclipse, the Mothron drops the Eye of Cthulhu, which is a really, really good yo-yo. The best part is you can actually get it before even defeating the golem, so that's really cool. And it actually has a base damage of 115, so when you combine that with a yo-yo bag and accessories, it actually makes it even more potent than what it already is. This is another one of those weapons that you can actually use through the Martian Madness and lunar events and even beat the Moon Lord with. It is the second best yo-yo right behind the Terrarian, so it is definitely worth picking up. Or maybe you fought Duke Fishron and got lucky to pick up the Flare-On. This weapon is one of few flails in the game, but is still really strong. It is the second strongest flail behind the solar eruption, and this thing has quick speed. But what's most notable about it is that it actually releases bubbles once it's been used that home in on targets. So not only are you doing damage, but they're also doing range damage as well, making this very strong. This really works out in areas where you're surrounded by mobs, doing the most damage to everything around. So this works out really great for those events. And the bubbles can give you enough separation to keep you somewhat safe against the Moon Lord. Last but certainly certainly not least is the vampire knives. Now, this may not be something everybody can get, depending on the world you have. If you don't have Crimson, well, you can't get the knives. But if you do have the knives, they're not going to be the strongest one compared to the rest of these weapons, but what they do is leech life. So basically, you'll have these on backup just in case, whether you're running short on life, you're on potion cooldown, you need some health, you switch them out, you use them for a little bit, and you recover. If not, then they're just there for extra damage when you need them. Even during Endgame, when they may not be the strongest weapon, the leech life effect does give you a big help when you really need it, especially during the lunar events. Now, the one downside about this with the Moon Lord is that with his Moon Lord bite, you may not be leeching much life because, again, it prevents some leeching while the debuff's in effect, so they're not really going to help you there. So anyway, that's going to do it for our video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. What weapons do you prefer? What's worked for you? What hasn't? Either way, again, let us know what you think. Thank you again so much for watching. Be sure to keep an eye out for more Terraria videos as well as other gameplays and possible product reviews coming in the future. So be sure to subscribe to keep up for that. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time. The video's over, but there's more where that came from. Be sure to subscribe for more Terraria Let's Plays, Top 5s, and other videos as well as we cover different titles. You can click on one of the videos here for more. Be sure to rate this video accordingly as it helps the channel out greatly. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time.